You're watching the 2025 SCAC Golf Media Days. Today, we're taking a look at the Centenary College men's and women's golf programs. The ladies and gents will once again be led as they head into the season of the guides of head coach Emlyn Aubrey, along with leadership from senior Drew Bennett and first year Amber Shaw. And Coach Amber, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks.
Coach, we'll open up with you. The start of a new season is always exciting. What are you excited about with these two groups coming into these two seasons? What are you looking forward to most as the head coach of these two programs coming into a new year?
Well, obviously, with the season Drew had last year, very excited about this year. I got to try to, keep him under control a little bit. I think he's too excited at times to get things going here. He had a good fall. I finished with a win at Dallas, and as far as the team goes, they also did pretty good in the fall. So we're just kind of looking for the same thing this spring. We had a little bit of a slow start at Trinity last week in Houston, but we're just coming out of winter. That's pretty much to be expected. So we're working hard at it. We go to Laterno this week, and for them, just try to pick up what we did in the fall and start finishing in contention, so to speak. We didn't win anything necessarily, but we were there a lot more than we were last year. So looking forward to that. As far as the women's side, just adding Amber and Haley Crowder, as first years, they've solidified the team that we needed to again be a little bit more competitive than we were the year before. So we're looking forward to that and see what they can do there. Same thing, they were okay in the fall. I know with two first years in Amber and Haley that there's a little bit of a growing period there trying to make that transition from high school to college. So I know they didn't play quite as well as they wanted to, but we're off to a decent start with Shriner. We had some very good positives coming out of there earlier this week. So same thing for them. I think just once we get settled into some good weather here and get on a pretty good groove of tournaments, we'll be hopefully ready come April for the SCAC. So.
Drew, coming into this season, obviously a big year for you in your senior semester. As one of the leaders within this group, I'm interested just, how would you describe the team's energy coming into this season? What's motivating this group? And from a team perspective, what are you looking forward to most heading into this championship semester?
I think we're chasing each other a little bit. I think that's our motivation. It really starts with practice. Within practice, we play a lot of qualifiers. We do a lot of matches, and we try to challenge each other through different games and things to motivate us to play a little bit better, to catch one another, to outwork one another, and to stay motivated for the tournaments. Kind of keep a competitive mindset. And as far as the goal for this season, like Coach said, we're really just trying to find our way to the top there. We've come really close. We came close last semester, and thought we got off to a good start last semester. And this semester, I know we were a little excited coming off a 4-month tournament break. I know I was. I went out there trying to win, thinking a little too hard about that trophy and not about my first tee shot. And just keeping that mindset, staying competitive shot to shot, and not focusing so much on reaching the goal, but working towards it.
Amber, coach talks about, coming into your first year at the collegiate level and kind of getting used to that transition, that adjustment in your first season. I'm interested, what have those adjustments been for you? What have you seen as far as the biggest shifts and changes you've had to transition into in this first year? And, what did you take from that first semester in the fall competing? What did you learn from that will help you and grow your confidence coming into this semester?
Definitely a lot of it has been my confidence. I struggled with my confidence a lot last semester because I was worried I was playing with the big dogs. I wanted to do the best I could instead of focusing on my game. So a lot of it diminished my confidence, but having that 4 months off and practicing and focusing on, my game and not everybody else's has really helped me. And my short game, I've really focused on trying to fix my short game.
Coach, how has the leadership sort of set the tone with these two programs here at the early start of this championship portion of the season? Who are some players on these teams that you'll be leaning on as far as that leadership component, both on and off the course, and how important will that be as far as helping this team achieve those goals as best as they possibly can this semester?
Well, I think it's obvious that Drew definitely set the tone last year with his play. So, he's kind of been there. It's leading the rest of the group, so to speak. Chance Snell's sophomore this year. He's right on Drew's footsteps. He's challenged Drew a little bit to make sure that Drew stays on his game for sure. He's chasing him. So those two have definitely been leading the rest of the pack a little bit. So, we're just hoping that those other ones down a little further down the roster get a little motivated and see what they can accomplish the way these two are playing. And hopefully that's, again, a little bit of a spark this going on this past fall. So, again, hopefully that travels over to the spring coming up. And then as far as the women's, they're all young. We two freshmen, two sophomores right now that are playing, and they're trying to gel together and just we don't necessarily have one that stands out like we do on the guys' side, but for them to be consistent week after week, that's going to produce results as well. So they're just trying to motivate each other, trying to have a good time. And again, that's all we try to do is, want them having a good time. Golf's hard enough, and, make practice fun if we can. Not always fun, but, motivate them to do some fun things and know where the results are going to come from with what practice they do and how they do practice. So, again, it's a little bit two different dynamics on each team, but, again, they're just going to hopefully become a team and have that consistency week in, week out. Again, we're not necessarily focusing on wins. Obviously, they're going to be nice when they do show up, but we want that consistency right now to be competitive first, work our way up the leaderboards, and then hopefully by the end be somewhat there.
Drew, Coach talks about the outstanding season that you went through over the course of last year and the accomplishments that you were able to achieve. SCAC medalist winning the individual honor there at our SCAC championships last spring, qualifying for the NCAA championships as well. Going through that type of a run of play, having the success that you had, how much did that build your confidence individually, and what have you continued to work on within your game to grow that confidence coming into your senior year?
Definitely grew my confidence. Being able to get the lead and finish it off in a couple of tournaments last year, being able to do that coming back this year, understanding that I have the ability to do it and that it doesn't take some kind of special quality that I never had. It just took a lot of hard work and a lot of knowing that I'm able to accomplish these things. As far as this season goes, I've got the same mindset. I'm focused on my game, trying to remain in my bubble, not think that there's a trophy or a tournament in front of me. Just know that there's a fairway I need to hit and a green I need to hit and some putts I need to make. And staying within myself, not too far ahead or too far behind. And as far as what I've been working on, it's mainly been my wedges. Being able to, if I can score, that's really where I make my birdies and separate myself from the field is 120 yards and in. Now, if some of my competitors might tell you that I hit a lot of fairways too, and that's a pretty great quality to have and everything. But as far as those birdies, they come from the wedges, I believe, and that's what I've been working on the most. So.
Amber, Coach talks about the young talent that is involved in this program right now. How have you seen the chemistry of this group sort of start to come together with a number of young players kind of going through some of these experiences for the first time? Does that help in terms of kind of that bonding aspect? And how important will that chemistry be for this group in terms of the success and kind of an overall bigger picture going into the rest of the year?
I would definitely say us being young has really helped us bond more just because we're kind of going through it together. We're learning, getting to learn every single time. Bonding wise, honestly, off of the course is where we really bond. Like on our tournaments, the ride up there, we really bond together. We'll go out to lunch every once in a while, hanging out with each other, learning more things about each other, just kind of helps us bonding with the team. And we're not necessarily as competitive as the guys are with each other. We're more, supportive of each accomplishment because we're not always going to have a number one each tournament. It kind of varies.
Coach, what are some things that you want fans to know about these two programs? Obviously, you have a unique perspective being, with these groups day in and day out at practices, part of those van rides on the way to tournaments. there on tournament, match days as well. So what have you learned about these two teams that excite you, that you want fans and supporters of these programs to know as they get ready for this championship run here this semester?
Well, again, it's, they come from all different backgrounds, obviously. So, there's a lot to learn. And, I listen. They don't know this necessarily, but, I listen to them when I'm driving the van, see what's going on back there, see what's going on campus type of thing. So, they're not afraid to talk about it on the van ride. So I hear some stuff, going on. But mainly it's just, they seem to be having fun. Obviously the grind of school is a challenge at times, and then putting that together with trying to practice golf and whatnot. But they're having a good time, I think. My big thing as a coach is, yes, I want them to practice, I want them to get better, but at the same time, if they need to go out and let loose a little bit, I'm not a big disciplinarian as far as that goes. I understand. I remember my college days, so obviously to an extent, but I want them to have fun. I know that golf's tough and they need to practice certain times a day. That's one thing. But after that, if their grades are fine and they're studying like they're supposed to be, they're free to kind of do what they want. I say, as long as it's not illegal, we're good. But again, on trips, we just try to do some fun things. We played pop stroke last week with the girls down in San Antonio on the way to Shriner. So just little fun things that we can maybe take a little side diversion and have a good time. But I could talk all day about each one of them separately. But again, the guys are getting along. They have a good time. Girls are getting along. They have a fun time. So that makes me feel better. That's what I want. I don't do well with confrontation or conflict. And if something does happen, we try to sit down and talk about it, talk it out, and get over it, and move on, type of thing. So they're all fun. If if you ever need anything specific from anyone, ask me later. But we have a good time with it.
And finally, as we wrap up with our two student athletes, when you've had conversations with some of your teammates just about the expectations, the outlook going into this season, and some of the goals that these groups have, what do those conversations look like? And ultimately, what do you both see as being key for these groups to go out and accomplishing those things heading into the year?
Well, me and Chance talk quite a bit about our goals and our expectations and what we want to do. Sometimes during the practice round, we'll talk, and he might tell me, "Man, this course is looking kind of easy. We might fire off some low rounds or something." And I'm pretty quick to remind him. I'm like, "Hey, let's not get too far ahead. We don't know how much that wind's going to pick up tomorrow. We don't know how much on Tuesday we might have to grind it out. It might be playing tough." And he's always there to challenge me as well as the rest of the team. We're trying to get our goals as a team to move up a little bit. Instead of getting fourth place, third place finish, let's start getting second, maybe a first. And that's really what we're looking forward to.
Me and Haley, we talk quite a bit. We're really wanting to move up in the rankings. I know it's a lot easier than it sounds, but we talk about like what ways we can fix it, short game, even just swing path. We talk a lot about the different ways that we can fix it and how we can see ourselves in the future growing as a team and moving up that leaderboard.
And finally, Coach, as we wrap up with you, what's kind of been your message to these two teams? It's cool to hear, both perspectives from the men's and women's program, just about kind of their aspirations going into this season, even though maybe a little bit different spots, but both still trying to push each other. So when you've kind of tried to set the foundation for this year for these two groups, what's kind of been that message to sort of support those goals and visions and heading into the season?
Yeah, for our ladies, I think it's just getting the experience they need. Being young like they are, they're gonna need a year or two before they can really get comfortable settling into the college program. And so for them, it's just like Amber said, the little finer details, short game, putting, stuff like that. Their tee to green game's fine. We just got to get those scoring situations a little bit better with them. So. Again, a lot of that is just experience playing different golf courses, playing probably better golf courses than high school, stuff like that. So that's pretty much what we're working on with the girls. The guys just we're losing Drew this year and another starter senior. So, trying, again, like I said earlier, we got to keep Drew in check a little bit. He's so excited about playing that you can't get too hyped up. And he mentioned it as well. So I got to, control him a little bit, I think. And then, with the others, just try to get them to, come along in the wake, with Drew and Chance, especially. If they can upgrade their game here a little bit, again, it's all about consistency. We have a pretty set through 3 and 4 player and 5 players. So, if those guys can bring it up just a notch, it doesn't have to be a whole bunch of strokes, but just 2 or 3 strokes around. I mean, that's going to make a big difference as far as the team score goes at the end. So, there's those little things. It's easy to talk about hitting balls and practicing 3 or 4 hours a day, but what really makes them better is just that little bit of extra consistency, a little bit extra discipline, maybe, what they do off the course, how they organize their time. If that stuff's comfortable before we leave for a tournament, they're much more comfortable and relaxed mentally, especially when we go to a tournament. So just kind of those little things you don't really see as a spectator or as a family member, maybe that really makes that difference when they tee it up. So
Centenary College head men's and women's golf coach Emlyn Aubrey, along with leadership from senior Drew Bennett on the men's side and first year Amber Shaw on the women's side. Coach Aubrey and the Gents and Ladies will get back to action as the Gents head out to the Pinecrest Invite on March 10th and 11th, and both the ladies and Gents will be in action when they host the Hal Sutton Invite on the 17th and 18th of the month. Coach Drew, Amber, thanks so much for your time today, and best of luck as you march forward throughout the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thanks, Russell.